Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Anton Wheeler, your host of Voice of the People United Community Forum. Thank you for joining me this evening for a very long hiatus. For those of you who may not know, I had a health issue. I actually had a heart attack, but I'm feeling somewhat better. And I wanted to get back to you as soon as I can, as soon as I could, to talk to you about what's been going on in the community. It's been about 6 or 7 weeks since we've last been on. Trust me, it was by no willingness of mine. But sometimes, when the Lord sits you down and tells your body, pay attention to me, that's just what happens. I'm fortunate this evening to be joined by members of the community. And they're going to be speaking to us about their organizations, about their community goals and the things that they're doing and the things that they have done in the community. We're going to be speaking to the New Africa Black Panther Party and the Second Rainbow Coalition. And I'm delighted and proud to be speaking with these individuals this evening. And we're just here to talk about some facts and talk about what it is that they envision for the community, some of the causes they've been championing in the community, and what it is that they hope to accomplish going forward. A lot of people, like to focus on the controversy and things of that nature. But I'm here to focus on the human aspect of these individuals who love their community, who are out there doing free haircuts, book bag drives, and cookouts, and things of that nature, and speaking up for tenants' rights and advocating for housing, a better housing quality for the citizens in North. So I appreciate them availing their time and being my first show back after a 6, 7 week hiatus. And we're gonna have some interesting conversation. So we thank you for joining us. And without further ado, we're gonna do the normal introduction, station identification. I know it's been a while. It's been a while for me. And then we're gonna get on with our show. Good evening, everyone. How are we doing?
All power to the people.
All
Wonderful.
right, to the people.
Okay.
Love and blessings. Love and blessings. I did I get everybody? Because I think I'm missing one person. Did I get everybody up in the screen?
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
General
man.
Secretary.
All right. Where's the chairman? I know the chairman was in here somewhere. Did I get him? Okay. Did I get the chairman?
Okay, there
There he
goes
is.
Chuck.
We see him.
Yep.
We see him.
All power.
Okay. And all power to the people. Peace and blessings and love. Assalamu alaikum to you. I greet you with the term of peace and love and endearment. And I thank you all, man, for coming on this evening and speaking with me. Especially my first show back after some time off. But I'm grateful, man. That you all have been able to avail yourselves and come on and talk about what's been going on in the community. And like I said earlier, one of the things that I also wanted to get into before we get into anything else is people may not know, and people may know what it is you guys are doing in the community, how you've been servicing the community. I was fortunate enough, a few times to watch some live feeds where you were giving back to the community, doing cookouts, giving away food, doing book bag drives. I even saw an event today where you brothers was giving people hints, trying to get our kids or whoever came up, get them fresh for their week, whether they're going back to school or going to work or whatever. So, I appreciate that. And I'm pretty sure there are a great many people in the community that appreciate what you do. So I don't know how the order of things should go based off of your organizational chart and how you think it should go. But whoever would like to start first, just introduce yourself, who you are, and a little statement about yourself and your purpose in the community.
All power to the people. I would like to defer to the Second Rainbow Coalition because we are a part of a collective organization, and the New African Black Panther Party wouldn't be who we are without our comrades in the Second Rainbow Coalition. But just for purposes of clarity for the audience, it's important that people know our intent and our impact. And that is to mobilize the community in an effective way to address the myriad of conditions, social conditions that were put there by people in power that don't like us, not just simply because we're black, but because we're poor and exploited and at the bottom of the economic system. So our intent as a revolutionary group, the New African Black Panther Party, is to look at all of these physical components of the economic system that surrounds the people but don't work for the people and come up with the way to create dual and contending power or alternative institutions in our community that effectively challenge one, those who hold the reins of power and use the law as an instrument of repression over our people, and two, to show our people that we don't have to be, not in the 21st century, codependent on any political party, especially this racist, white supremacist one party state, if we want to call it that. Is really fascism all the way through and through. So our job is to be revolutionary, to represent the people, and to serve in a capacity where we can ignite the people to become agents of change. All power to
All power to the people, brother. Next.
Brother Kwame, Sister Alyssa, y'all want to go?
No, I think he deferred to you. I think he deferred to you to speak first. I think that's what the chairman did, right, Chairman?
all power to the people.
Yeah, it was a long deferment, but he deferred to you, comrade.
All power, all power. Well, first of all, thank you, comrades, for being here. Malikum Salah, hermano Anton. Thank you, brother, for having us. Peace, blessings, and health to you, hermano. And I, as co-chair of the Second Rainbow Coalition, along with the trifecta, me, Kwame, and Alyssa are here, and we're happy to speak on our support of the New African Black Panther Party and Capitan Africa. My name is Lobo. I'm an Oregon Brown Beret captain, member of La Mesa Nacional de Brown Berets, which is a national conglomerate of different Brown Beret cadres, and one of two co-chair of the Second Rainbow Coalition and one of three members of the trifecta leadership of the Rainbow Coalition. Also Sergeant at Arms for Latino Rifle Association and Socialist Rifle Association, and I will defer it next to Brother Kwame and then Sister Alyssa. Thank you. All power.
All
All
right.
power.
Thank you.
All power to the people. Yeah, I'm Kwame Chase Shakur. I'm the advisor for the Second Rainbow Coalition, a part of the trifecta leadership of the Second Rainbow Coalition. So unofficially, I do like most of the ambassador work of the Second Rainbow Coalition. Unofficially, making sure we keep this coalition going together. Me and Shaka Zulu is one of the founding members of the Second Rainbow Coalition when we put this together back in May 14, 2014. 2001, 21 in Newark, New Jersey. So a pleasure to have me here, Brother Anton. And I appreciate you letting us have this platform to support the New African Black Panther Party and call for all these charges be dropped against Captain Africa.
Thank you for sharing, Sister Alyssa.
Hey, I'm Alyssa Ray. I'm the co-chair for Second Rainbow Coalition with Captain Lobo and member of the trifecta as well. I'm the Minister of Defense for the New Era Young Lords, the tri-state chapter. I'm located out in Connecticut. We have a somewhat regional chapter out here. And honestly, I'm really just kind of following some of these awesome leaders. They're all teaching me amazing things, and I'm just thankful to have the opportunity to be here and speak on behalf of Captain Africa and the New African Black Panther Party.
Thank you very much, General Secretary.
Hi, my name is Patience. I'm General Secretary Patience of the New African Black Panther Party, resident of Newark. My family is part of the New African Black Panther family. We've been doing community work for over 15 years. So yeah, we're here to discuss a lot of things that have been going on in Newark. And I'm just happy to be here with my comrades. And Anton, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for coming on, sister. Thank you. And brother, the man.
All power to the people. All power to the people. All power to the people. And like now, I saw you a couple of months ago, man. I saw you and I pulled up on you and I was like, yo, we got to get together. We got to talk about what's going on with the
That's right.
housing. Because that's it's a way of life. This is what we do. But yo, I'll be remiss if I ain't say like that's what's up. You here? Yo, I'm happy. I
Thank
didn't know
you, bro.
I didn't know you were sick. I didn't know you was sick, man. Like yo, I'm happy. I'm happy you here, yo. Like the most
I'm happy
important
too, bro.
word up. The most important thing in life is life. Like along the way we forget that. We forget how
That's right.
valuable life is. Cause like you ain't no do overs. I mean, like
That's
once you
right.
go, it's a wrap. So like every
That's right.
moment that we on this planet is cherish that. I mean, yo, I hold life above everything else on this planet, over money, material objects, everything. Life is the most important thing. So like imagine if you wasn't here now when you caught your heart attack. Like who would have us on here talking right now? You did?
I dig, bro. I
Yeah,
dig.
bro. Like, thing, I mean, like, yo. So real talk, like, yo, I'm happy you here, man. I mean, but
Thank you, brother.
yeah, but like, yo, this is what we do. This is our comrades around the country. Everything that we do, we don't do it on our own, and it's not reactionary. It started with the education process and the maturity level. Like when I first met you in 08, 2010, it was at the council meetings. I was going to the council meetings. I was trying to see if I could get the political system to do anything about the conditions around us. That's where we met. That's how we got to know each other. And then it grew from there. And now we're here today where I'm part of this organization with these good people all around the country. And it's just not me, but it's an education process. And, yo, our enemy as Panthers, as the Rainbow Coalition, is imperialism. Like there's no equivocation about that. Because like when we join these organizations, we take political education classes and we talk and we understand where we all stand and what we're fighting for. Yo, we're not friends, we're not family, yo, we're comrades. Comrade is a whole different level. It means like we go past all the gender, all the separation, all the social stratification that society has to divide us, and we go straight to the point of where we unite and who's oppressing us wherever we at, Connecticut, wherever we at right now. We in Chicago, wherever you at, you go into Africa, wherever you at, our problem is imperialism. It is not gay people, it is not white men, it is not white women, it is not black women, it is not black men, it is not immigrants, it is imperialism. And when you meet that do the work of imperialism, that pass the policies that codify into law our oppression, yo, it is our duty to say something, to speak to them, to hold them accountable in front of the people. I mean, this doesn't mean like I hate the person, I have personal feelings towards them. Nah, it's real talk. When I see you wherever, yo, why you making it like it's terrible what you're doing? How you got everybody out here on the streets homeless? Now, I'm not saying that because I'm making it up. It's coming from study, it's coming from analysis, it's coming from data. It's coming from data from the institutions that he is a part of. Rutgers University came out with a report that says the politicians in City Hall are responsible for the housing crisis. So I come out my house and I see my neighbors, people getting kicked out, people homeless everywhere. Yo, the politicians are responsible. They made this reality so. So like, I'm not gonna turn to my neighbor and be like, yo, because they're on welfare, yo, it's their fault. Because their jeans is sagging down low, it's their fault. Because they participate in the underground economy, it's their fault. No, I'm gonna go to the head of it. The people that our tax dollars go to fund. That's where I'm going. And I'm going to hold them accountable. And then as a Panther, it says when they won't do their job, it is our duty to find ways to help the people survive in their communities, survival programs, building institutions. This is what we do in the community to try to help the people. But wherever I see whoever, the mayor, a politician, whatever, that is supposed to be responsible for the lives of people, I'm going to hold them accountable. And right now, we are living through their reaction to what we do. Now, this is what we're seeing now, calling the police, lying on camera, calling me names, saying names that I'm not. This is what they do. This is what people in those positions have to do to try to discredit the people, the voice of the people, what the people are saying. Because like when I talk about housing, I'm not the only one talking about housing. Every single comrade on this screen right here is dealing with the same issue in their community. Every single one. Who is speaking for those people? Who is speaking to those people? Who is standing up and saying to the people that are in charge, yo, this is wrong what you're doing. You can make people that are in wheelchairs homeless. You can allow landlords to come in here and lock people's doors and tell them they can't get into their apartments. That's illegal. Somebody has to be held accountable for that. And you have to show the people that these people are not doing their job. And since they're not doing their job, you can look towards them for help. You can look towards them to save you. It is time we do this ourselves. And all of this that I'm talking to you about, I told you about the maturation from when I first met you to now. Right. This is all learned under the leadership of our chairman, Chairman Shaka Zulu. We met 4 years ago. And we started working. I started learning about Pantherism, started educating myself, started reading about George Jackson, started reading about all these different people, Frantz Fanon, starting to understand where our issues come from. And after that, I understand who's responsible. I understand what we must do to change our condition and our reality. And it's all thanks to the chairman and all the education. Even Kwame, me and Comrade Kwame stay up and we politic, we talk. We have debates. Debates more heated than the one I had with the mayor. I've had debates with the chairman. The chairman know, like, we don't need to lie. Me and the chairman was be in the car driving, and we have heated debates about stuff. But the chairman is not going to leave that space and go talk about me or call me names or do anything like that, because the chairman understand, we're battling to struggle to understand how to survive in this world. Not paid off by somebody, and he has to be some type of way, or he has to lie about me to justify his existence. We don't have to do that. We don't do that amongst each other. I don't do that with you too, brother. And I've known you for over 10 years. I mean, like, I'm never gonna go anywhere and say anything about you that is not true. But basically, that's what we're here for, man. And I'm not gonna take up too much time, but I'm gonna answer whatever questions anybody have. I'm here to answer them. There's no need to duck whatever. We tell the truth, and that's what the chairman told us. Ain't that right, chairman? Tell the truth and what?
Hide no lies.
That's right. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section below. Like and share. Let everybody know. You know how Facebook does. Sometimes we're actually on Amazon, Twitch Prime. We're on Facebook and we're on Twitter. You know how sometimes some of these things, can effectuate a algorithm. But these brothers and sisters have something to say, and I definitely want to get to it as best as possible. So this is what how I would like to start, if you don't mind. If you subscribe for me, and I know I said it because I've talked about some of the lives I've witnessed and some of the things I've heard going on in the community. But describe to the people, man, what it is y'all do when y'all go out here. I mean, y'all walk up and down the streets. Y'all talk to anybody. It don't matter what they look like, what their condition is. Y'all give food to anybody. Y'all give book bags to anybody. You advocate for people that are really trying to do better for themselves. So could you describe for our audience, what that struggle is like and what really brought you to this work?
All power. I'm gonna go in, then I'm gonna let you go ahead, get in, chairman. You can't just tell people, you can't just walk up to people and just tell them, hey yo, get your life together. I mean, like, hey yo, go get a job and you're gonna be okay. Being a Panther is a way of life. Our duty as Panthers is to create survival programs in the community to help the people in the community survive. I mean, if they don't survive, there's no revolution. There's nothing that can be done. So the first and foremost is following the 10-point program and creating programs in the community for the people. Everything we do is for free. We charge for nothing. So like this whole summer, we had a basketball camp because most of the kids want to play basketball. So since they want to play basketball for the last over 10 years now, we have a basketball camp every summer to bring the kids in. It's like a boot camp. It's 5 hours. We have breakfast. We have lunch. They come every day. We have basketball tournaments and stuff we take them to. But that stuff is not just to give them a place for them to be ball chasers and to chase balls around and throw balls around. It gives us the opportunity to organize them. It gives us the opportunity to speak to them, to get to know what they're going through, to get to understand them on a daily basis. Like they see you Monday, they see you Tuesday, Wednesday. When they're hungry, they can call you. Whenever they need to go anywhere, they know you're there for them. That's you're building a cadre. I mean, that's organizing, because it's like it's not tomorrow. You're not going to see the fruits of that labor tomorrow. You're going to see the fruits of that labor 10 years, 15 years from now. That's what organizing really is. So when they come to that, the kids at first, they think it's just about basketball. Then once they've been around for a while, they start to give out food. They're going to political educations. They're learning things about politics. Like today, we had the cookout. They're out there with the cookout helping out. They're out there getting haircuts. They're taking food home. Yo, they're learning how to serve the community for nothing. It's not, there's no fee to it. I mean, and we're teaching them that ways to survive without depending on the state, without depending on imperialism. I mean, the chairman is the one that he has the links and provides the food that we serve to the people. All these things has to be done. Nobody's going to come and just do it. Like, it got to be a cadre. It got to be a people there that's able to help the people in the community. And that's what we do on a daily basis, whether it be pig patrol. So we got to patrol our communities and make sure the police are not exploiting people. So when you walk in, driving, you see whatever, you see the police got somebody, yo, you pull up. Yo, what's going on? Pull out the camera, because you're supposed to do that. Yo, you good? Ask them if they're good. If they say they're good, you could leave. If they say they're not good, you stay there with them until everything is okay. Like, that is like we see it in movies. There's a movie about it. You see people doing it. But this is what we actually do in the communities. Like I said, we feed the people. We go to rallies. We have political education class. We have a political education class 7 p.m. every Sunday. We couldn't make it today. We told everybody we're going to be here today to check you out, because we had to come see you. But we didn't have it today. Usually we have the political education class. But all this stuff is to organize the people in the community for them to learn how to liberate themselves, because nobody is going to do it. So our boots are always on the ground, and this is a way of life. And it's just not us. It's all of our families. All of our families are part of this, because this is not a hustle. We're not trying to hustle nobody. This is a way of life for all of us. And after saying that, hey, yo, Chairman, you could break it down more technical than I just did. You heard?
Well, I just want to say that when we initially founded this organization in the prison cell, the objective was to create an alternative to the gangster hoe culture, an alternative to the mentality that perpetuated this nonsense, not only in the prisons, but on the street. And so we began to dive into deeper analysis around the system. And it was not particularly the brother on the street corner that was selling a bag of crack cocaine, or the mother that was prostituting to feed her children that were the principal criminals in our community once we began to read. And that awakening, that knowledge of self stirred in all of us within the new African Black Panther Party a desire to transform our communities into bases that lift up and not tear down, into bases that provide love and not hate, into bases that provide a space from which our people can heal from the trauma that's afflicting them every day. Look, every day I go out my door, all I got to do is look left or right, like a comrade Hot Thurman said once time, and I could see trauma victims. They're trauma victims 8, 9, 10 years old, hearing gunshots every night. I could see a mother crying. She's on the cusp of being evicted out of her house. I could see young brothers gathering together, whispering about the next job opportunity. All of these things are present on these number blocks, but we don't see it because we have divorced ourselves from the masses. So the job of the revolutionists, the job of the new African Black Panther Party is to say, without you, there's no us. And we provide these programs, like Comrade Huey P. Newton said, as a life raft. They're not a complete and total answer to the conditions in our community, but it's like when you go out for a swim, you need to put on some kind of jacket, and it protects you while you're in the ocean. So while our brothers and sisters on these number blocks are surrounded by gangsterism or hoism. All of this stuff manifested by the local political class. I'm not talking about the cats on the street corner or the young sister that might walk up and look pretty that day. I'm talking about those cats that are in power. They are using the instrument of law to repress a legitimate revolutionary organization that's been on the ground here in North since January of 2019. Just look at the history. We not only have we just been feeding food, which is one of the staples of our survival program, but we have also defended people who were being kicked out. We have also held the mayor accountable over this water thing. Who do you think organized the VMA demonstrations in 2020? It was the New African Black Panther Party in solidarity with other groups. In 2021, when the mayor had his local water council, who you think was on the front lines demanding, holding the mayor accountable for the water? So we're not some Johnny come lately to the scene. We're a new organization for sure, a militant organization for sure. And our job is to hold anybody, whether you black, white, Asian, Latino, or native. If you are in a position of power and you have a law that you could use to repress and oppress the people, then we're going to hold you accountable to that. We don't care if you Mayor Ras Baraka, Joe Biden, and or Donald Trump. Just like the original Black Panther Party. Here in the city of Newark, they were bombed. You know why they were bombed on Springfield Avenue in 1970? Because they held the local political establishment accountable. You know why they were bombed in Jersey City, the Black Panthers, by the police? Because they held the local political elites accountable. You know why we were bombed and set up in New York under the Panther 21? Because we held the local political elites accountable. You know why they invaded and murdered Fred Hampton December 4th, 1969? Because he held the local political establishment accountable. And that's the tradition we're going to stand in. I don't care how many nonprofits just got $100,000. I don't care how many people are invited to $100 plate to eat some food. The objective is to make sure everybody has some housing, to make sure everybody have good medicine, to make sure we have a quality education system that speaks to the draconian nature of this decadent bourgeois society, at the same time expose the deep history between the black and Chicano, the native and the black, the poor white who served on the front lines and the black who served on the front lines. That's what we're building, a rainbow coalition of resistance. And if the mayor got a problem with that, then so be it.
Now, Mr. Chairman in Africa, I want to get to Brother Kwame, Brother Lobo, and Sister Lisa, if you don't mind. What has your experience been trying to attain and achieve all of these different objectives, especially being that you're branched out at different parts of the country, and what is it about the struggle here in North that made you say this is a place where we need to be involved?
All power to the people.
I want to
go ahead,
speak to
Conrad.
that real quick. Captain Africa said we're against imperialism, and he totally correct. Kwame Nkrumah wrote a book called Neo-Colonialism, the last stage of imperialism. And this right here speaks to what we're dealing with in Newark, New Jersey. Right now, just to use a historical situation that's already occurring right now over in Africa, no matter the politics or how this is going to play out, but we see the situation in Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, and that was French colonialism that controlled those countries over there. But those were neo-colonial countries. You know what I'm saying? They had black faces, but it was really the former colonial powers that controls the economics and the politics over there. That's why they kicked them out, and that's what's going on over there today. Now, let's look how that translates over here, how neo-colonialism works domestically in the United States. Ras Baraka, that's a black city with a lot of black pigs, with a lot of black politicians. You know what I'm saying? But they have the same role that those countries over there in Africa, in Asia, and South America has over here domestically.
All
Their
power.
responsibility is to repress our community for the capitalist imperialist class. That's his job. They were standing. This is a class. This is how the class struggle plays out in real life. The New African Black Panther Party was out there standing up for the people. You know what I'm saying? Ras Baraka and them were standing up for the landlords, for the corporations, for the private investment companies and stuff. You know what I'm saying? In the article that they did on this situation talks about the money that was being flown invested into Newark, New Jersey, with the gentrification process. You know what I'm saying? And they were serving the interests not of the people, but of corporate America, of the banks. You know what I'm saying? Of the landlords. And this is how that class struggle plays out here. They use a black face like Ras Baraka. They use Black Pig Force to go against a revolutionary organization like the New African Black Panther Party. And mind you, this is the same mayor before he became a mayor talked about revolution. Said he was a revolutionary. I watched on Chairman Shaka Zulu invited me to watch something the mayor was doing around 2 years ago with the Black Panther Party in October. I think it was the 50th anniversary or the 51st anniversary. And he had people on here and he's talking about the Black Panther Party and we supposed to live up to this legacy and stuff like this. But when the real Black Panthers stand up to you and call you out and expose you for your neo-colonial policies against the poor in Newark, New Jersey, then you use your repressive forces of the states, the police, to lock up our comrade Africa. You know what I'm saying? So we, as the Second Rainbow Coalition, with all of our organizations, we stand in solidarity with them because we understand this is a part of the class struggle against us right now for attacking the New African Black Panther Party because we doing the work of the people. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to put that in a real analysis of why we're having this conversation. Why, when we have these political educations, we teaching the people electoral politics is never going to solve the issues in our community. Next year, we're going to be holding a demonstration. It's the whole Second Rainbow Coalition. And they already know it. The police, the Democrats, the Republican, the FBI, the COINTELPRO, they know we're going to be going against the RNC and the DNC next year because we want to show people the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. None of them is really standing for the people. You know, we expose the real relationship, of the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. They serve the interests. They're the representatives. They're the professional representatives of that bourgeois class, which we call the capitalist imperialist class. And we when we come out here and we speak to the people, it's all about, you know what I'm saying, their consciousness being developed by working with people that's boots on the ground and getting the political education so they understand their true colonial relationship to this system and our true solidarity with the oppressed people of all ethnicities, of all genders and sexual orientations. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to throw that in there because this is what we up against. And this is why we stand fully behind the New African Black Panther Party in Newark, New Jersey, because we see this as an attack from the class of oppressors that we all are struggling against. So it's not an attack just on the New African Black Panther Party. It's an attack on our whole coalition. It's an attack on our whole class, no matter if they're conscious of it or they are conscious of it. So I appreciate all the ones that's jumping on here with the comments from the Second Rainbow Coalition showing the solidarity with us with the New African Black Panther Party.
Thank you very much, brother Lobo. I just want to get your perspective real quick because I heard you say something earlier. You said that I don't want to say guns, but self-defense. You understand the importance of the Second Amendment. And in saying that, and Sister I didn't forget you. I'm gonna get to you in 1 second. But what is that like for you? In engaging in your efforts to try to get people to understand the importance of their Second Amendment rights and why it matters, and also, what is the reception like when you try to explain the history? Because any Second Amendment right enthusiast must be well versed in understanding the history and the purpose of the Second Amendment and why it's something that every American that can should take advantage of. So, what is that like for you, and how have you been in your efforts in getting that education out there and getting people to be responsible gun owners?
All power. That's a good question, comrade. You know what's interesting is where I live, near the Oregon and Washington State border in the Pacific Northwest, is very bougie. All these latte liberals and Democrats, they're fake. They are extremely, extremely fake, and that just goes to show that the two-party system will never save us. They'll never, ever, ever save us. I think one of the bonding things that bonds us as a Second Rainbow Coalition, whether it's a brown beret, Chicano like myself, New African Black Panther, whatever, Puerto Rican Young Lords, whatever, is the knowledge of the class struggle. It's really interesting, but when you get down to it, I have more in common with a poor farmer in Eastern Oregon than I do with Bezos, Jeff Bezos, and that is a brown last name. I got nothing in common with that cat, right? Or any other Chicano, Latino, Hispanic, whatever you want to label it, indigenous person that's come to money and power, because then they are a part of the 99%. But what's interesting is when you understand the class struggle, you also understand that the United States, that the American dream, that this country is extremely false, that it is extremely fake. So here's an example. We have different amendments. We have the Constitution. We have the Declaration of Independence, right? Actually, both documents mention Indian savages. And everybody that wasn't white was considered an Indian savage. Didn't matter if you were Native American or not. If you were not a white, wealthy landowner, you had no rights, right? When we understand the class struggle, we understand that it is the proletariat, the working class, that brings forth things that come to fruition, right? Going back to the Second Amendment and going back to things like, the Declaration of Independence and all that, and all the amendments, when you look at what happened with our brother, Captain Africa, all he was doing was asking questions to a politician that he pays salary to through taxes. Asking questions. That is covered in the First Amendment, and he was jailed for it. So what's up with that? That was a violation of his First Amendment, right? In terms of the Second Amendment, I feel like if you can exercise your Second Amendment, especially if you are Black, Brown, Indigenous, LGBTQIA plus, gay, you need to. You need to. It is imperative and it is incumbent to learn and to master the art of self-defense through firearms, through archery, in case you can get a hold of ammunition, any physical combat. You need to, because most people are peaceful, but most people, when pushed, they will have to defend themselves. And the reception that I get, especially when we teach women firearms, whenever we teach free education classes on, especially with my unit, on how to load, unload, and so forth, and how to obtain a concealed handgun license, how to do expungement classes if they're either felons or if they're illegals, so that they can get their concealed handgun license, is overwhelming. We always have big turnouts for that. And I think that if you can, you probably should exercise your Second Amendment because everybody else does. Now, what may happen, which you have to be educated about using your amendments, is look at Captain Africa. I mean, he was jailed and he was just using his First Amendment right. If you listen to what Chairman Shaka Zulu of the New African Black Panther Party said, look at the history of the Panthers. They were bombed, murdered, and jailed just for doing human things, survival programs. Even to this day, we're labeled as terrorists or extremist thugs for the love of humanity. Free breakfast programs, right? Basketball camps, right? Teaching people how self-defense classes, right? Like, these are just basic necessities, and for that we are labeled terrorists. I think if you know what you're getting into, you have to have a love not only for your people, but a love for humanity. Um, Being that we are part of a Second Rainbow Coalition and we have all different walks of life, we are we're bound. We are binded through solidarity, and a lot of that is because of the class struggle. And so I feel like whenever somebody is attacked within the Second Rainbow Coalition, whether it is a Young Lord or the New African Black Panther Party or a member of, then it is attack on one of us all. And I find it very interesting because literally, if you see the video, what our hermano, what our brother Captain Africa was doing, asking hard questions, which he should do to Mayor Ras Baraka, literally in Portland, Oregon, 2-3 years ago, probably even to this day. You can go to Twitter, you can, or X, whatever it's called now. You can go to Facebook, you can go to Instagram. Everybody knows in Portland, Oregon in 2020, the whole city was on fire for almost 2 years straight with the Black Lives Matter protests. But we have, and we still do, have a mayor, Ted Wheeler, who constantly is always asked, what are you doing about the homeless? I mean, they confront him.
There's no relation to me. He's no relation to me.
And he's no relation to you. That's right, comrade. But what's interesting is I literally got anti-fascist comrades that were doing the same thing as Captain Africa. Just asking questions. What are you doing with the homeless? Why are you trying to, defund PSR, Portland Street Response, which is something that came out of the protest where we defunded the police and people wanted LCSWs and MSWs, licensed clinical social workers and masters of social work, instead of the cops to show up for, domestic violence or houseless comrades. Like we didn't want to deal with the police. And then this cat is trying to sneak into that money when we try to defund the police for that. Like we were asking them all kinds of questions. And it's funny to me how in talking with these comrades, I'm like, yeah, I actually know a comrade who was jailed for doing the same thing. And people are like, what? And it just happened. So we have to stand in solidarity. Attack against one of the New African Black Panthers is an attack against the entire Rainbow Coalition. And we stand in solidarity with Chairman Shaka Zulu, with our hermano Capitan Africa. I feel like the necessities that will help us to survive these things are things like political education, which the United Panther Movement or Hassan Shakur education class is, to me, in my opinion, bar none. Captain Africa's class, to me, is top tier. Top tier. You get good, insightful, well-read information. Once you become politically aware and educated, then you can understand, okay, well, maybe I may have been born here. Maybe I should and probably will exercise my Second Amendment right, but I have to have a backup plan in case somebody tries to come after me and jails me for using my Second Amendment. What am I going to do? Believe it or not, I just found out that for those of us that conceal carry, whatever, now there's insurance. There's different kinds of insurance companies you can get on that. And now that I know that, I'm like, okay, well, is that information bilingual? And do they have people of color on there? Like, that's probably something I should invest in because I sleep with my firearms. So I should probably educate myself on that, right? And it all honestly starts with the realization that not only do you have a love for your people, like the Chicano people, the indigenous people, now that I have the understanding of the class struggle, now I have a love for all people that are in my class, whether they're black, white, doesn't matter. And then now that I have that understanding and that love, it goes even further. And honestly, that's what it comes down to, is a love for humanity, I love myself. I love my people so much. I also love the people that I see go to work every day, that live in my community, that live in my neighborhood, that is literally the working class people. I know them by first name. We got a lot of stuff in common that when it comes down to it, when things happen, like what happened to Captain Africa, or other things, like we hear what's going on in Hawaii and so forth. We hear what's going on here in Oregon with all the wildfires and then the lack of funding. It's like, well, where's it going? Where is it going? It's interesting, but $1 billion homes are saved. Well, what the these wildfires here in Oregon? Oregon is like a very big populated state in terms of wilderness. Like, if we don't get that under control, then you're going to have farms where a lot of migrant farm workers, my people, work those farms that are going to come under fire. Literally, they're going to get burned up, right? We have climate change, right? We have all this stuff. And so I feel like once you understand the love of yourself and your people, even your organization as a brown beret, and then you understand the love of the working class people, it just goes even further. And so, with that being said, I just want to say that I stand in solidarity with all you brothers and sisters. Thank you. And Hermana Alyssa, go ahead, please.
Did you want me to answer the original question, or did you have a specific one?
Whatever, sister, you waited patiently. Lady should have went first, but you go right ahead. You answer whatever question you want.
All right. Well, then I think the first question that you kind of said was how how is it working since we're spread out, and why did we feel compelled to be here, right? Something along
Right,
those.
right.
Um so I've definitely had the opportunity to meet everybody on the screen except for yourself, and in person, Captain Lobo. Um but I've built relationships with each individual person on some level, or whether it just be watch, like you were saying, you see their lives, you see all the stuff that they're doing in their communities. And I've definitely been in, I don't know how many times I've been in one of Captain Africa's UPM classes. Never fully completed it in its entirety. I've been there, and I've been there a lot. But each week here and there, kind of thing. But and I think I said this the last time, maybe when we were doing our video in support of him. Is that Captain Africa, just he every single time that I talk about, every time that I hear him talk about it, he's talking about how it's going to be for the people, how it's going to affect the people. Even this scenario where he is facing nonsense, terrorist, fucking pardon my language, charges. um he is talking about, he brought it to the Second Rainbow Coalition and said, how can we make this about the people? How can we bring this attention, to what the actual problem is? What was he talking to Ras Baraka about? Houselessness, homelessness. There's people out on the street, and anytime that I see a post from there, it's like, there's another person on the street, or they're emptying out another food truck, or whatever the case may be. It's always trying to figure out what is a solution, and like you said, he's holding them accountable, and I do not see him ever not hold them accountable, and I love that. I love watching the videos on YouTube and everything. I would appreciate if we could stop putting nonsense charges for asking questions. That would be great. But it's really, that's what drew me, besides being asked, obviously, as a co-chair, to be here, is watching his passion and his love for the people, and how even in his own, I don't know, for lack of a better word, demise, he wants to make it about the people, rather than people like Ras Baraka, who get into their positions and then forget all that revolutionary bullshit that they were talking about before. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I think that's really about it.
All right. So I guess because we got a little bit of time left, and I definitely want to get to the controversial piece of what's going on. There was a video circulating, and Captain Africa was out there, and he felt the need to address the situations that are going on with the tenants in North. And when you get a chance, Mr. Chairman and Captain Africa, I want you to explain some of the statistics, because I believe that there are almost somewhere in the neighborhood of 50,000 or more individuals in the city of Newark that are facing eviction, and I thought that number was kind of high. But you actually can look and see for landlord eviction court. I'm sorry, in Essex County, and you can actually look that statistic up. For the people that are proposed to go to landlord tenant court, how many people are facing evictions? So, from the way it appeared on the video, Captain Africa was voicing his opinion and expressing himself about something. From what was expressed was that he was called out of his name. And then things ensued from there. And my question to the chairman, because like the chairman said, as he eloquently put it, on when he did a statement about the situation, that CAF for Africa works with a group of individuals. He doesn't do anything without the group of individuals knowing it and understanding it and supporting him in it. So what, from your perspective, transpired, and how did we get to the point where law enforcement was called on you and you were arrested, you were detained and then arrested? Actually, if I'm not mistaken, it was a hour or so later after the initial confrontation with you and the chief executive of the city. So what transpired? What happened? And let me get what you're saying.
I saw a couple of questions down there by Monera. All power to the people, Monera. I've known Monera for a minute. Monera, no, we don't agree all the time, but I see you on the streets, Monera. All power. Um, I'm gonna try to answer it and wrap it all together. But when I went out there, I was trying to hold back the tears when you were speaking too. Yo, thanks a lot for the kind words. Real talk. But
Love is
yeah,
love.
but that day, the person that was hosting the basketball tournament at Branchbrook had sent us a text. He said somebody lost their jerseys, and he was like, "Yo, bring some jerseys down for me." Like we wasn't even going to go to the game at Branchbrook Park, but he called, so he said, "Bring the jerseys." So I hurried up to bring the jerseys down there. When I gave him the jerseys, I saw the mayor standing under the basketball court with a couple of armed guards around him. So after I dropped the box off and I was walking back out, I was like, "Yo, that's crazy. You making everybody homeless out here, bro." Because anytime I worked on the mayor's campaign. I'm sure you remember that. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I definitely do.
Yeah,
I was on the other side.
yeah. You was on the other side. Yo, I didn't ask for a job. I didn't get paid. I didn't ask for nothing. We took the young people that were part of our program because we have an after school program, and we took the kids there for them to learn how the electoral process worked. They went door to door. We canvassed. We did all of that. I didn't ask them for nothing. I didn't sit in there like he know. I didn't ask him to give me any money. I didn't ask him for a job. Yo, we did it because I wanted to know how this system worked. That's what I went to school for. Yo, it used to be a time when people went to school because they wanted to learn something. Yo, that time has passed. Like when you read Miseducation of a Negro by Carter G. Woodson, yo, he's explaining how society is changing and people are going to school to get letters behind their name and to get jobs and not to work for the people, to help liberate the people. And he was saying, like, this is dangerous. Yo, today, 2023, everybody go to school to get a job. Like that's the norm. We live in a socioeconomic world. That's the chessboard that we on. Everybody go to work. Go to school to try to get a job. So when I saw the mayor and I told him, I'm like, hey, look, bro, you're making everybody homeless. Yo, he looked at me. He was like he tried to wave me off. I'm like, bro, you know what I'm talking about. He waved me off again, like you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, bro, like it's right here. Like you online, you on YouTube having a press conference, and you're selling these buildings, the slumlords that's kicking people out their homes. We got to go. Like I'm talking to him about something substantive. Like he tried to blow me off again. I'm like, it's okay. I understand you a sellout. I understand you an Uncle Tom. But don't be going around here calling yourself an activist because you make people like me look bad. I'm like your mother, your mother Uncle Tom, your mother sellout. She the whore. And you a rapist. Hey, look, you see, but at that moment, I didn't have my phone recorded because I just went to talk to him to try to see like if he's gonna say anything, like say like yo, I'm working on it, yo, I'm trying to do stuff. Nah, he went straight to it. But that wasn't the first time that they called me that. Yo, his administration has been attacking me for years now. Like they say it under their breath, and I say something to them, like they call me a agent, a CI. They call me stuff like that, and I say stuff to them like, yo, what are you doing? You know I'm not an agent. I don't work for the poor. I don't work for nobody. Like, why are your people calling me this? And they'll say like, nah, they really did that? Oh my God, we're gonna call them. But they don't do nothing about it. So at that moment, that's the first time he ever said it out of his mouth. And I always said, if he came at me like this, I'm suing him for defamation. I'm gonna go use his own court system to deal with him, because this is what they fear. This is the kind of stuff like people like him fear. So when he said, I pulled the camera out. Say it again, because now we're not talking cordial. Now, like, you are enemy. You are trying to kill me. You're calling me a rapist, and you're calling me a what you call it? What's a CI?
Confidential informant.
Confidential informant. Those are the two worst things you could call any black man in the hood. No way. Like in prison, you kill him for that. So this is what you call him. So I understand where we at now. So I pull out my camera. Say that shit on camera, bro. Say it one more time on camera. You book licking Uncle Charles, because I wanted him to say it. I wanted to draw it out of his mouth so I can use it against him. But he knew not to say it. Even now, they go around, they're telling people to make videos about me, saying stuff, but they won't say it out their mouths because they know they're liable. They can be held accountable for it. But that's what I said to him. And then one of his guards walked with me. Now, this was like around 6 o'clock. This was like doing, the sun was still up. He walked with me. I was like, you got to find a way to talk to the mayor. Y'all got to sit down and talk. And I'm explaining to him, like, we can't talk. The video is available. If you want, you go on All Power to the People. It's on our YouTube page. When you see the video, I'm explaining to the armed guard what he's doing to the people. So I get in my car and I leave. I go to my son's basketball game. And in the video, there's a young man that comes and tells me, hey, yo, Africa, you got to go to your son's game. And I'm like, yo, I know you're trying to calm me down. I mean, and this dude, this is what you call a proletariat. Like a lumpen. That in our education, we learn about like the different classes of people in the society. Like he's at the bottom of the society. Every dollar he get, he got to work and get it however he can. I don't think he cashes any paycheck. But like this is the people that we work with in the community that we're trying to help. So he ran over there. He left what he was doing because this dude is apolitical. He's not into politics or nothing. He ran it to come and diffuse the situation to tell me like, yo, Africa, like you got to go because he know what I do in the community. So I left. Me, Patience, and my daughter, we left and went the Weekway. Like 2 hours later, 2.5 hours later, we come back to the park. One of the mayors, because we came back to watch the last game. There was a game that was coming on like around 8 o'clock. And this park games, they don't start till 8:30, like 9 o'clock. So like when we got there, the game hadn't even started yet. So one of the mayor's security, now this dude is retired. But he's armed guard for whatever. He calls me like, yo, Africa, what's up, man? Because he knows me too. He knows I've been in the community for a while. Like, yo, Africa, let me talk to you, man. What happened with you and the mayor? So I'm like, nah, I'm under the basketball court. Come over there. I'm right on the court. So he walks over there. I only see him at first. So he talking to me. My Patience is there with my daughter. So we talking, like he trying to explain to me, like, listen, man, you can't talk to the mayor like that. You got to apologize. I'm not apologizing to him. What am I apologizing for? So when I started saying that to him, that's when I noticed Mitty walk up. Now Mitty's the mayor's brother. He's the chief of staff. And when he walks up, he's standing in front of me talking, and he's like, "Yo, this is about respect." Because it was all supposed to be like intimidation. I don't know if they thought like I was supposed to be afraid of them. But when they walked up, like I'm who I am. Nothing I say here or say when this camera's cut off, I'm gonna do different when I see you. So I told him, your brother making people homeless, bro. And that's all I care about. And if he's not going to, you're like, nah, it's not about that. No, nobody care about that. How are you the chief of staff of the city and you don't care about the people that are homeless? All you care about is respectability for your brother. Man, I told him to get out of my face. At that point, I didn't want to talk to him no more. I didn't want to be around him. Yo, go ahead and over there. I turned around. It's like the whole police force coming towards me. Like we were surrounded. And the first thing that came to my mind, like, this is what they do in the third world country. This is not what sophisticated politicians this is not how they're supposed to behave. And like they're walking over there with the police like that. And I know I hadn't done anything. So they're coming over there and I understand they gotta try to make me pay for talking to their mayor, the person that gave them their jobs, their 6-figure jobs. They have to take up on them. So when they're coming with the police. Like I already knew, I'm not a reactionary. We don't do this work just because we wake up and we decide we want to do something. We have political education classes to understand what these people are going to do. So when they walked up, I didn't fight them because if I fight them, they'll kill me. They'll stomp me out. That'll be the end of me. Tomorrow, everybody will go on by their life. All the kids that I'm helping, all the stuff I'm doing, it'll be for nothing. So I know when they come, just go with them. Whatever charges they have against you, they're not going to stick. It's not going to be that long. You're not going to be there that long. Yo, we get all of this from the training that we have. I'm not mounting off, being like cursing at them, giving them a reason to attack me. So I put my hands behind my back. I mean, even when the police try to grab the cuffs, I put my hand behind. They lock me up. We are all asking, "What are you locking me up for?" Because at that point, I hadn't committed any crime. So they say for terroristic threat. Terroristic threat against who? Now remember, I hadn't seen the mayor since I left, and his armed guard escorted me to my car. So if anything happened then, I would have got locked up then. But when when I was talking to them and they telling me terroristic charges, and then the female officer, and she said to me, she said terroristic threat against the mayor. After a while, she explained that I'm looking like terroristic threat against the mayor, but I didn't say nothing because I understood where I was at. So I put my hands behind my back. They took me and put me in the back of the car, and I saw my family. I saw Patience, I saw a daughter, and I saw my son walking up, and I saw them challenging Ras Baraka's administration. Then I saw the other people in the park walking up, challenging them, and I like that's when I started to get afraid, like what is going to happen after they take me down there. So the whole time, like that's what was in the back of my mind. But when I got inside that car, because we are always organizing, we are always Panthers, there were 2 police officers in that car driving. I told them, "Hey, yo, man, I know y'all not sociopaths. I don't care if you got that uniform on. I don't care what you got to do. I know y'all see the people out here that's homeless. I'm like, y'all see all this stuff going on out here. You see them just throw me in the back of this car and tell you to take me to the precinct, and I didn't commit any crime. Hey, yo, if you do nothing about it, yo, you're part of the problem. Yo, but when I was saying it at a high pitch. I was angry. So one of the officers was like, oh. Like, we didn't do none of that. Our job is just to transport you from here to there. That's all we doing. So I calmed down. I brought my voice, the level of my tone down, and I said to him, "Hey, yo, you know about Germany and Hitler, right?" So they was like, "Yeah." I like, like after what happened over there, they had trials, and they brought the people that were taking the people to the concentration camps, the guards, and they had them at trial, and they asked them why they did what they did, and every single one of them said they were following orders. I like, they hung some of them, and they gave the rest of them life in prison. I'm like, whatever you do, you're accountable to it, yo. And that was the end of our conversation. Yo, when we got to the precinct, they refused to sign the arrest warrant. They said they didn't arrest me. They were like, we did. They called their captain on the phone. I've never seen that. Since I was like 16, 15, 14, I've been getting arrested, thrown in the back of the car. Police been brutalizing me. I have never seen officers say, "I'm not signing that arrest warrant. I didn't do that. I didn't see him commit no crime." They called the captain. They talked to the captain. They put me in the cell. I went in the cell, and I was there for a few hours till 2:30 in the morning when they let me go. They never signed that complaint warrant. And they were standing. One of them was saying, "Yo, like, my wife don't want me to be a cop. My family don't want me to be a cop." The other one was saying, like, he wear a mask over his face. I'm thinking, I be thinking in my mind, they're wearing that mask to scare the people, to intimidate the people. Yo, I realized that moment that they wear that mask to hide their face. So people don't know that these are the police in the community, because this stuff affects them too. It's psychological. I mean, so when they sent me in there, when I was younger and I used to get locked up, I didn't pay attention. They locked me up on Green Street. I go in there, it'd be filthy. It'd be all these people. I just find a low corner and I go to sleep. Yo, when they locked me up this time, like, I paid attention to my environment. Yo, when they locked me in that cell, it was cold. I'm talking about cold. You cannot sleep. Like, I had to put my hands inside my t-shirt and I'm sitting there shaking, but you can't sleep. And then the light is beaming on you. And then they have 2 cameras on you. Yo, that's sensory deprivation. You see, but I didn't have these words. I didn't know about UN charters. I didn't know about all of this stuff when they used to exploit me as a child. But when I was sitting there, I'm like, this is how they treat people. So if the police came and grabbed you and they said your insurance, your license, whatever they came up with, and they locked you up and detained you because you hadn't committed a crime, that's where you're going. How are you sending citizens, taxpayers, people that haven't committed a crime to torture? It speaks volumes of the people that are in charge. Now, I told you when I got locked up, I was worried about my family because all of that is still in the back of my mind while I'm in that cell. When the sister was speaking, the comrade was speaking, and almost brought tears in my eyes. Because that same young man that came and said, your son has a game, they lump it, the bottom of society, that is apolitical. Him and a whole bunch of other dudes came and formed a wall in front of my family and the fucking state. They formed a wall. Like, I didn't go give these people guns. I didn't go tell them to fight for my family. But like in the camera, like I could see them when they're knocking patients over and they're knocking my son and them over. They made you know my son. My son worked at City Hall with his brother because I wanted my son to learn how the system worked. You know my son. You stood there and let these people try to brutalize my son. All because I asked you about making the people homeless, the people on the streets. I didn't beg you for a job. I didn't say nothing about your parents, your mother. I didn't curse you out. I called you what you are, a sellout. And the people that y'all don't care about, the same people that you're kicking out of the projects, these are the people that formed the wall to protect my family. And when I got out of that cell and I walked home and I got to the house and I came upstairs, I asked her, like, yo, what happened? Yo, it's okay? This, like, patient told me. She was like, yo, they formed the wall in front of us and they wouldn't let them get to us. Yo, I say all of that to say this. Like, if you care about the people, if you really sincerely care about the people, and when you need them, they'll be there for you. I mean, that's the power. Like Manera said earlier, I said I was going to try to tie it all in together. Manera said earlier, like, that they banned me from City Hall. Yo, they banned me from everything. They banned me from everything in the city. They kicked me out of basketball gyms. They've told me I can't go watch my son play basketball. They have come after my family. They have taken scholarships away from my son. My wife can't work in the city. I can't work in the city. Yo, there are penalties that come to this life. But I understand one thing that the chairman has taught us. Fred Hampton has taught us. UEP Newton has taught us. But we do this for the people. Because without the people, they have nothing. So without the people, there is no City Hall. And they know that. And Ras Baraka knows without the people, there is no City Hall. He is done. So because he's ashamed in front of them, because he's embarrassed that somebody's shining a light on him and is showing the people who he is, he will use whatever means of power he has to oppress me and my family and anybody that's part of our organization. I haven't said nothing yet because I'm holding it for the chairman to say it. But they're coming at us as we speak now. They're coming at us. They're attacking us. They're trying to stop the things that we're doing in the community. All because we are asking about the people. I am the people. How am I not going to care about the people? Without the people, I'm nothing. I'm nothing. That's what I have learned as a Panther. Without the people, not black people, all people. Because after a while, you learn that as a human being, we are a species. I mean, we're not black, we're not white. Those are all social constructs designed by imperialism to divide us. So once you understand these people have been at work for hundreds of years, for centuries, trying to dominate us, how are you going to set trip, cross lines, and go join those people? And somebody like Ras Baraka that knows. Negro, you know. Your parents taught you. Your father taught you. You know the struggle. You could quote this shit better than anybody. And you sit here and you call the police. Yo, just look at that video and watch his face. He's embarrassed. He knows what he has done. And he knows how he's going to go down in history. He knows. Because he knows the moment. He ran out that park with his tail tucked behind his butt. And like, let me tell you something right now. If Ras Baraka or anybody from his family, Mitty, because I have their numbers in my phone, if Mitty had texted me and said, that, yo, we apologize, hey, yo, come down, let's see how we can fix this. Yo, I wouldn't have posted that video. I wouldn't have came out of jail and posted that video, but I know I have to post that video to show what these people are doing. Because if the people don't see it, they're going to paint me with whatever they want to paint me with. I knew it was coming. So as soon as I got locked up, Patience released the video. No, Africa did not do nothing they're saying. I mean, the video was there to speak where we couldn't speak. And now everybody has seen the video all across. People from North Carolina, from San Diego, everybody's calling me about the video. I mean, but like I said, none of this is reactionary. None of this is reactionary. Everything we do is scientific. Holding him accountable. Letting his words speak for themselves. There's no narration in the video. It is the mayor speaking to the people, showing the people who he is, and the people looking at him and seeing him for who he is. And that has him so scared, he will use whatever means of force to come after me, anybody associated with me, my family, anything. It says something about him. It doesn't say something about us and our character, and we understand that. And since they control all the platforms, yo, I had three reports. One of them was canceled from me. News agencies called me to take my account of the story. Yo, they called the Secretary General called them. When is it gonna air? They said, well, our editor said, we got to sit on it, whatever. Yo, their reach is far. Their reach is very, very far, from housing to education to everything in this society, in this community. All these institutions they control. And this is the last point. Munira said, the action plan? What are we going to do? This is the last one right here. I mean, because I don't want to take up too much time. Yo, I have great comrades on here. Chairman, I want the chairman to speak. I want the people to hear the chairman. But I'm just telling you what he would tell you. I'm telling you what I learned from him. That's what I'm about to tell you now. You see all of us sitting on here? This is called intercommunalism. In each of our different communities, we do work to be able to help the people, to sustain the people, to liberate the people. And then we go around to every different organization. Wherever you find anybody that's interested, that want to fight for the people, you build solidarity and unity so y'all can work together to make it happen. If we want to change our conditions right here on the floor, right here in North, wherever we are at, you have to go to the people and organize the people to change their condition. So right now, everybody's getting gentrified. Everybody getting kicked out of their homes. Yo, we come together tomorrow and say, yo, we're going to start cooperatives and build our own institutions instead of relying on the institutions of the state. We have ownership. We are the board members. All of this belongs to us. We're not going to sell our home and be homeless. We will never do that to ourselves. But nobody is going to come in, whatever they call it. What's that plan with TI? Opportunity zones. Nobody's going to come in with opportunity zone. No rich person, no celebrity is coming to buy anything and fix anything. The only people that we have is us. We have to come together, have these meetings, organize. You and Mara, you work every day on this plantation. You picking cotton, making money. The chairman Zulu works. I work. Patients work. We all work because we all got to work to survive in this society. If we come together, organize together to build our own institutions, that's the only way we can change what is going on. And the institution at City Hall belong to the imperialists. Those are their institutions. Our schools that we send our kids to, those are their institutions. We have to build liberation institutions. We can build a school. What's stopping us from building a school? We can. We don't have to keep sending our kids. Like all the work that the chairman, all of us that we do, like today, we had the book bag giveaway, we had the free haircuts, we gave out the food, we had the barbecue, we did all of that earlier today. Yo, we did it for free. We can come together like that and build schools and educate our people to be able to survive. But we're not doing that right now. Most of our collective energy is going to push Trump, Biden, Cornel West, this West, that West, Northwest, East West, push all these people that's going nowhere that we want to go, bro. That their moral compass is towards imperialism and it's not towards the people. Without the people, you have nothing. So the mayor can have all the police, he can have everything he has. But if we have the people, if the people have been seeing us work for them for the last decade, if we have them, we gonna be all right. So all power to the people. And I'm gonna end by this. I'm gonna say it now, yo. If nobody ever heard this before, I'm gonna say it now. I am not on Megan's Law. I have never raped anyone. And if they continue to use, and I'm not a CI confidential informant. My name is not John Nemo. It is not Thomas Gunn. It is not, what's the other name? Thomas Anderson? Thomas Jefferson Anderson. My name is not none of those people. My name is Africa. And I picked that name for myself. My name that my mother named me was Thomas, after my grandfather. I was named after my grandfather Thomas, and my last name is Ibiang. Ibiang. That's a Nigerian name, because my father is Nigerian. I was born in Newark, New Jersey. And when I used to go to school, they used to make fun of me. You African booty scratcher, you African. Like it was supposed to like make me be ashamed to be African. But at a certain stage in my life, I said, I am African. I am Africa. So I took the name Africa and I gave it to myself. So I call myself Africa. But if you want to know the name my mama called me Thomas after her father. And my last name is Ibiang after my father. My name is not all these other names that they have on social media. All of this is to cast dispersion on me to make it easy for them to come attack me or to kill me so nobody would care. This is what they're doing. This is what COINTELPRO is. So, like, I mean, I think that's the best I could explain it. I mean, if you have any other questions, I'll answer it. But before I get off, man, like, I want to say it again. Hey, yo, all of this wouldn't be possible without the chairman. The chairman is the one that educated us. Because you remember me, I used to be going down City Hall, I was going to rally. I was with Pop. I was with all these different organizations. I was ping-ponging around till I met Shaka Zulu at Essex County College. And we started talking about Pantherism. And I started reading these books, and I started coming into this consciousness. I mean, and everything that happened, you just tell me, be cool, comrade. We good. We all right, comrade. I mean, so all power to the people. I met Lobo. I met everybody, Alyssa. I met Kwame came later. Kwame even came to the house. Kwame from Chicago, right? Right?
Indianapolis.
From Indianapolis. But he came to North to see what was doing in North, to help out in North. And he slept at my house. We went out to Chicago to go out there to go work with him. Like, this is intercommunalism. This is how you meet people, organize to do something for your people in the community. And like I said, Chairman, you be looking like you angry on these things right here, man. Chairman. Word up. Now, but real talk, I want to give you that respect in public. I want people to understand how much I respect you. And this is not the first time the chairman has stood by me. Yo, when they had a meeting about me, how long ago was that, Chairman?
Probably about a year ago.
A year ago, all the activists in the city, P.O. on Pop, all of them, all the people that's supposed to be activists in the city, they had a meeting about me to tell me if I didn't calm down and coming after the administration, they would label me as COINTELPRO, that they will all come after me. So right now, I'm waiting for them. I'm waiting for Larry Ham. I'm waiting for all these neoliberals in the city to come after me. It is what it is. I don't care. They could say what they want to say about me, but I know it's coming. I mean, but I don't know where Anton went at, but we here, Anton, if you come back. I don't know what else to say. But Chairman, go ahead, take it, Chairman.
I'm right here, brother. I'm right here.
Yeah, we got you be having heart attacks. We got
no, man, God ain't done with me yet, brother. God ain't done with me yet.
All right, so I just want to chime in right quick before we get a little more deeper into the time and announce that the mayor of Newark have come after the new African Black Panther Party. They gave us a cease and desist letter occupying the Hassan Shakur Community Center. He said that we were illegally occupying the building and that we had 10 days to get our property and leave the space. But all the people in Newark know that we have been using that space for 2.5 years. We have allowed that space to be a beacon on the hill from which people can look and see an alternative to the misery and exploitation that our people experience on a day-to-day basis. I myself took comrades down to City Hall and signed a use and occupancy agreement with City Hall Yolanda Davis. And I have the documents to prove that Ras Baraka approved that we can utilize that space. But now, since we spoke out, like Comrade Kwame said, the neo-colonialist is only happy when you're pushing their policies. The fact that you mentioned, Comrade Anton, 50,000 people are subjected at any given time to being evicted out of their house speak to an egregious abandonment on the part of the local political establishment across Essex County. Because Patterson experienced the same thing. Elizabeth experienced the same thing. Jersey City, in fact, was just sued by the ACLU because the slumlord landlords don't want to accept a voucher. They want to raise the rent, market rent. Dig that. 50,000 people. Here in the city of Newark alone, you got 2,000 people every night facing the harshness of the weather, hunger pains. Think about sleeping in a cardboard box. All of us that live here in Newark, right by Penn Station. And there's snow out there. And the mayor has took steps to outlaw organizations from feeding the hungry. We didn't say anything at the time because we had our own fight with the mayor around feeding the people, and we won. And we're going to continue to win. So we don't care what cease and desist order he gave us. We're going to challenge him on two fronts. One, we're going to use the adverse possession law, which is a law that all squatter organizations around the country use. Let me just break down 3 points of it. The first of the adverse possession law states that if you see an abandonment property in your community and it has been abandoned for over 5 to 10 years, and you go inside, clean it up, beautify it, and you have a visible presence in that community on a day-to-day basis, and the people respond to that property in a positive way, over time it becomes yours. That's the adverse possession law. I just gave you 4 cardinal rules of that. And that's what we used then, and that's what we're going to use when we go into the enemy court to challenge Ras Baraka's weaponizing of the criminal justice system. Just think about this. He said he's going to send the police to arrest me, to arrest my comrades. We have comrades that are 10, 11, 12 years old. You're going to put these comrades in handcuffs, desensitize them so they could go into the school to prison pipeline. But you don't even see that because you're so blinded by the power of corporate America. You want to kick us out of a space where we feed the people, where the homeless come and ask us for some socks, where we give them toothbrushes. You want to kick us out of a space where the drug addict come and say, I need help. And what we do, we call to the clinics around the state trying to get these comrades some attention. He want to kick us out of the building the same way that he kicked the tenants out of the spires. He want to kick us out of our building the same way he kicked the tenants out of Riviera Court. He want to kick us out of our building because he don't care about the people. He don't have to answer to the people. He announced almost 2 years ago at a big event in New Brunswick. He had all the big political wigs there. He announced he's going to try to run for the governor of the state of New Jersey. So you can see where he has completely, totally, absolutely divorced himself from the people. Now, I can remember sitting in a prison cell, and I don't want to be long, but I need to bring some clarity to what I'm talking about here. And seeing this guy, prior to him becoming elected to the local political class, marching in the streets. I seen when Ras Baraka inspired the whole North and invaded the port and told those entire mafia, your criminality will stop right here and you will hire our people. I seen Ras do that from a prison cell. I seen Ras sit down with the Bloods, with the Crips, prior to him becoming dizzied by the halls of power and tried to find some solution under the Black Neo-Force, which was a group that he started when he came out of Howard University. I seen Ras talk to the sisters that were on the street corners. What happened to this guy? It's the question. Revolutionaries, concerned people, activists should ask themselves, if you weaponize the police against a group of people you consider to be your heroes, that says something about your own contradictions, your own hypocrisy. How you going to go on National Jericho, a political prisoner outfit, and talk about freedom for Jalil Muttaqin? How you going to talk about freedom for Mumia Abu-Jamal in Philadelphia? How you going to talk about COINTELPRO being an instrument that divided, weakened, and diffused the upsurge of the 60s and the 70s? He had a poem a year and a half ago where he said, black is power. And now you got these young people who are incentivized by a higher purpose, looking at this guy and say, why is he attacking us? What can I say to a 15, 16-year-old? Why is Ras Baraka kicking us out of our space that we paid $1 million insurance for? $1 million we put over that building. Rod said, I won't sign the use and occupancy agreement until you get $1 million insurance over that building, because we know you operate independent of the local political structure, and we don't want to be held accountable. So that's why we put $1 million insurance in that. We spent $10,000 building the roof to that community center. The nickels and dimes came from Mom on 16th Street, came from Pop on 18th Street. It came from brothers and sisters on the garbage detail. It came from mothers and brothers and fathers everywhere who said, this is very inspiring. And that's how we maintained ourselves. And so we got a question to ask ourselves. Are we going to give this property up because they weaponized the state to be repressive against us? Or are we going to fight back? The natural question for anyone who wants to survive in the 21st century is to fight back. And that's what we intend to do. All power to the people.
All power to the people.
Well, man. Well, listen, I just want to say thank you all for coming on and doing this evening. It has definitely been an hour and a half of information, positive talk, and what I'm more happy with is that you all explain what it is that you do to the community, do in the community, do for the community, and how you want to support the community. In Africa, I'm sorry what happened to you, man. It wouldn't have been me if I was man. You'd have just had to curse me out and I had to eat it. You'd just had to curse me out and I'd have to put you in like come over here, let's talk, brother. Come on, man.
Hey, you would have did what you usually do, but you be politically savvy enough to say, hey, look, man, come sit down so we could talk about this.
Yeah,
you would have been politically savvy enough to walk around that. It just shows the disdain that they have for the people. That he couldn't say something that simple. That would have diffused the whole situation. Hey, yo, Africa, man, I hear you, but the basketball game going on. Now, man, we got to work on that. It's serious. I know it's serious. We got to do something about just something like that and keep it trucking. Because I was on my way out, but he didn't. I mean, but look, yo, I'll be remiss because the Secretary General is telling me to say it. Hey, look, we got to go through these court cases. I mean, so we need donations. Lawyers not free. Lawyers are not running up yo, let me take this case, whatever, because they all got to eat too. They got to pay bills. They got to pay rent. I understand that. Yo, when I first became an activist, I used to be like, yo, how come all these lawyers not coming to save us, to work for the people? But they got to eat too. So, I got to pay them. If you want to help, if you want to send money to the legal fees to help us with the base, yo, we have a cash app. You could donate to it. What is it?
I live for the people. $,
I live for the people. I mean, you could send help, whatever help you can. You could come down. We have the political classes on Zoom. So, hey, were we leading up, or am I just jumping the gun?
Bruh, you go ahead and finish what you're doing, man. This is your this is your voice. Go ahead, man. Take your time.
If you want to help us at the center, for us trying to keep the center, you can reach out to Chairman Zulu. Chairman Zulu is going to give out his info in a second. You can reach out to us. We have, like I said, we have the political education every Sunday.
In the chat.
And she's putting it in the chat right now. The Secretary General's putting it in the chat. But everybody's welcome. Yo, you a Panther. If you in the hood, if you out here with the people, you a Panther. You just got to come get this political education, know what we fighting, know who we fighting, and you in it with us. I mean, that's what and then we're going to call you a comrade. You're not a brother. You're not a sister. You're a comrade now. It means we're in this war together. So anybody that want to join, anybody that want to come down, you want to stand with us, yo, we did. 309 South Orange Avenue. 309 South Orange Avenue. Oh yeah, not for now. The chairman said we ain't going. We ain't going, right, chairman?
All power to the people. All power to the people.
Listen, please everybody, make sure you put all of the information in there. I see the Secretary General just put some of the links and information in there. Make sure you put the Cash App in there, so that you can get some support. Listen, whatever topics, whatever you have, please, reach us out at voice of the people united at gmail.com. Let me know what it is you want to talk about. Like I said, I'm more of an individual who likes to have discussions and conversations. So you ain't talking nonsense, or nothing crazy, and I don't care what your view or opinion is. If you have one, and you have some context, this platform is for you. It's not for me. It's for you. And I'm glad that you all were able to come on this evening. I really appreciate it. You know how it is. Cats just be, trolling and doing things for likes. But I really want to inform my community and let them know what's going on. I have my opinions about the current ruling class, but that's for another day. This wasn't about me; it was about you guys. And just to let you know, man, that y'all got to keep doing what y'all doing. It's needed in our community. The only thing that I wanted to really talk about, and maybe we could get to that, later in another session, is that sometimes, and having been elected to the school board and run for city council and things of that nature, sometimes, we have to look at the electoral process, or make sure that the people that we put in office, we hold accountable. I think all too often what happens is we say we support people, and we help people get elected, or even if you might not, vote for them directly, you may provide them with credibility. And once you provide them with credibility, you send them to City Hall or to the State House or to the White House, and you don't follow them there. We don't follow them there. We leave them be. And we think the work is done once they get the notoriety that they need or the seat that they were searching for. But the reality is that's when the real activism and that's when the real accountability really starts. You know what I'm saying? So, I just, I don't have, I have faith in God. I have, especially after July 18th, I have faith in the Creator, and I know that it's a living, breathing one. And at the end of the day, we as people, we all are held accountable for what we do to God's people, especially when we do wrong. And that's myself included. That's us all. So I do want y'all to keep doing what y'all do. Whenever you have something that you're promoting, something that you feel you need to say, you guys want to reach out to the community, Sister Alyssa, Brother Kwame, Brother Lobo, if there's something going on across the country, and there's something that you feel we need to know about, that's what this platform is here for. I'm just a lowly old educator from Newark, New Jersey, man, and I'm just here, to inform my people as best I can. I've resolved myself to the fact that being elected ain't for me. I probably won't last long because I really would be trying to do the right thing, man. And this homelessness thing and it is very, serious, and it's very near and dear to our heart. Especially being an educator, because what you realize is some of the kids in these schools, man, that they're transient, they're homeless, they may live with a relative and stuff like that. People don't understand that there are different levels to homelessness. You understand what I'm trying to say? And some of us have experienced that in our lifetime, having to stay with an aunt, having to stay with a grandmother, having to stay with a family friend or whatever. So it's imperative that you keep promoting that message. And chairman, you keep holding them accountable. You keep holding them accountable and giving them that knowledge and that guidance, brother. Because a lot of people, man, were impressed with the way you handled yourself. When you came and gave your message after the situation, and to see Brother Kwame, Brother Lobo, and Sister Alyssa come out and say that I'm rocking with you, man. That shows that you really been putting in work, man, and that the people in the community respect you. So any last words from any of y'all, man, before we get out of here? If you would like to say anything, if there are any upcoming events that you would like to promote, now's the time. If not, I'll take us out of here whenever you're ready.
Well,
Yeah, I
I
want
would
to.
like to defer to the Rainbow Coalition and let them talk about the events that we got coming up.
Okay.
Go ahead, brother Kwame.
I was gonna say something else, so I'll let you take that, Chairman Lobo.
Okay, okay. Um, so just to show the solidarity, so we have one of the co-chairs from La Mesa Nacional de Brown Berets who's watching the show right now, Sister Letty Ramirez. There will be a national action of all the Chicanos, all the Brown Berets next year in Arizona. And then for the Second Rainbow Coalition, in conjunction with the Poor People's Army, we'll be doing national actions next year, July of 2024, with the RNC DNC, because we know the two-party system ain't going to help us. And so there's actually going to be a march from Milwaukee, Wisconsin to Chicago. And so we'll be part of that as well, too. And so we look forward to seeing all the comrades there as well, too. And then I'll pass it back off to you, Brother Kwame.
Yeah, I just want to conclude this great discussion today. I remember somebody once told me that was like, man, like why don't you run for office? This is the reason why I don't run for office. I told them, I was like, look, if Fred Hampton, who inspired me the most out of everybody, you know what I'm saying? If he was to be resurrected and ran for president, mayor, governor, I wouldn't vote for him because I know how the system works. Like Ras Baraka, he probably came in with good intentions. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and say he came in with good intentions. But how the system is set up, it's just like I did 18 years in prison. We used to see the new recruits come in every year to work at the prison. And even some of the cool ones would be like, yeah, give them about 2 more years and they're going to fit into the regular culture of code of blue silence off of here. You know what I mean? And that's what I was saying during the 18 years in prison. No matter how you come in, we are conditioned by these social institutions. And when you're dealing with the state, you even more have checks and balances on you that you can't move in a certain direction, that you actually start to become just like what you was formerly against. So with us in the Second Rainbow Coalition, even if you don't agree with us when we say we not for electoral politics, you know what I'm saying? One thing y'all can agree is that establishing these dual and contending powers, these institutions that are representative of the people, like the New African Black Panther Party, that community center, we're going to stand there and support it. If we got to come down there and surround the community center, then come on, Ras Baraka. You know what I'm saying? We not scared of the pigs. You know what I'm saying? We'll come there and we'll rally around that institution. But these institutions represent establishing the dual and contending power that are social institutions that stand in opposition to the capitalist institutions. They stand for self-determination. They stand for liberation. You know what I'm saying? So this is a different alternative that we're showing the people. You can keep on going Republican Democratic Party for the next 100 years, and you're going to have the same conditions, and they probably going to get worse. Or you can stand with us building social institutions in our community that's going to be about building liberation schools, building daycares, building community centers, building different institutions that's going to support the needs of the people, clothing the people, housing the people. We even have an organization that does housing takeovers. You know what I'm saying? And gives them to the homeless people. You know what I'm saying? Federal housing. At the end of the day, this is about. I want if y'all take away anything from this message, this is about we should have housing should be a human right in the United States of America. You know what I'm saying? Or we not asking, we demanding. You know what I'm saying? Now we not gonna ask, we gonna demand. If we have to do with the Poor People's Army, take these federal houses. You know what I'm saying? These HUD houses and give it to the people. Like we say them houses, the people is more important than them houses. It's more important than this profits that y'all making off the people. You know what I'm saying? So this is the number one thing we want people to come away with when we start going against the RNC and DNC next year and have this march. We putting forth these contradictions to the people so they can see for themselves that neither party is for them. So we have to be our own solution. This is what our message is for the Second Rainbow Coalition. None of these political parties is a solution. We ourselves is the solution, and we are no longer going to allow them to divide us based on ethnicity, based on regions, based on religion, creed, gender, and sexual orientation. We are all on this same colonial plantation, and all the slaves are starting to recognize that we all been manipulated. You know, and it's time that we all come together. And we're not gonna keep on looking sideways, we're gonna start looking up. Like the Poor People Army said, we ain't from the left, we ain't from the right, we from the bottom, and we coming for you at the top. You know,
all power to the people.
All power to the people.
All power to the people.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Anton Willer, your host of Voice of the People United Community Forum. I want to thank our guest this evening, the Second Rainbow Coalition, the new Black Panther, the new Africa Black Panther Party, my man Africa, my man Chairman Zulu, Sister Alyssa, Brother Lobo, Brother Kwame, the Secretary General Patience was on earlier. But thank you all. Thank you very much for coming on this evening. And I look forward to tracking your efforts and helping out. Don't worry about it. We'll figure out a way to get you something for your legal defense, man. We'll figure that out. And ladies and gentlemen, you have the information in the feed. Please make sure you look at these organizations and look at what it is they're doing to try to better our community. And always remember this, and I want you to remember this clearly. It's somebody else now, but it will be you later. Stand up for yourselves. And all power to the people. Assalamu alaikum.
All power to the people. Walaikum assalam, brother.
All right now.
All power.
All power.